Yo, so it's Amari here, SleepWalker, and we're here with I'm just here with the wonderful VRITRA, who just performed at the SCO last night, and just knocked out the park.
Let's go.
But shit, how's it going? How are you feeling?
It's good. This is a nice place.
Thank you,
It's
appreciate
really
it.
calming.
Yeah, right. Fucking Oberlin's a small town with a small college, but
Yeah.
nice vibes.
Yeah, I wish my college, I briefly went to college, but I wish my college was as calm as this, open.
Yeah, like shit. Yeah. So where are you from?
I'm originally from Louisiana, but I've lived in Illinois and Florida and Georgia. I didn't start making music until I got in Georgia,
Stamp.
but yeah, I've lived a few places. I live in LA now though.
Word. When? So you said you started to make music in Georgia. Like, how old were you when you first started?
I moved to Georgia at the end of 7th grade, so since 8th grade, just
Stamp.
making stuff on GarageBand, just playing around.
Word.
Yeah. Eventually, moved on and got better programs and shit than GarageBand. Sorry for cursing.
Oh no, it's fine. We can edit it out and shit. It's
Sure.
yeah. But so would you say that so you started making music in high school or middle school for real?
Yeah.
And then you went to high school in Atlanta? Or
Yeah, I went to
Atlanta?
high school in Powder Springs,
Stamp.
Powder Springs, Georgia. I didn't really spend much time in Atlanta, but Powder Springs was
Powder
kind of
Springs.
where I was at.
Stamp. And then when did you move out to LA?
So I moved out to LA, I think, 2013. That was the first time I moved out. I moved back to Georgia for a little bit, but I initially moved out because Marttians from the internet
Stamp.
and I were working on a bunch of Jet Age stuff, and it was right
Kill.
when Tyler and Sid and a few other people were going to the label meetings.
Word.
So we both needed to be out there, and I moved and I was staying with Matt for a little bit until we got kicked out of where we were staying.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to move back home. But then eventually I moved back with 6 other people from NRK. NRK is this group that I'm in from Atlanta, from Powder Springs specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I moved back with them, I just stayed there since then.
Cool. And y'all all went to high school together, right? NRK?
Yeah, same high school. McEachern High School. It used to be a women's campus.
Oh.
A women's college campus.
Stamp. And did you meet Matt at your high school too? Or?
I met Matt in high school. The situation was we had this NRK mixtape we were trying to put out called Goodwill.
Stamp.
And I was already a fan of Matt, before I got into Odd Future.
Mm-hmm.
And I just decided that, me and my friend, his name at the time was KC 2.0, but he goes by Lombardi now. We both reached out to Matt, and
that's the same person.
Yeah, same guy. And he agreed to mix the project for $200.
Cool.
Which is tight. We were surprised that even happened. But then he came out to my mom's house to meet all of us.
Yeah.
And we literally packed 8 people inside of this small ass Scion that he had.
Mm-hmm.
And we just hung out listening to music, driving around Atlanta, and he was showing us around the city because we never really left Powder Springs. So,
Yeah.
Experience in downtown was crazy. But after that day, he didn't charge us for the project. So
Oh, that's sweet.
we just started hanging out and kind of built from
Yeah.
there.
Just fucking with each other.
And that led me down that path of our future stuff.
Yeah. So you moved out to LA and you're staying there, and then, like, are you and Matt still like making music together and stuff?
Not really that much, but then like with the nature of the Jet Age, we haven't really made any Jet Age stuff in person together since like the Fifth Echelon.
Oh shit.
The rest of the stuff has just been like us in different
Sending
places.
shit back and forth.
Yeah, just emailing and trying to decide on track lists and stuff like that.
Kill.
Yeah, it's rare that we like anytime that we like actually get together in person is never for like music shit. Like it's just like to
Just
talk
like
and
catch up
and
and
stuff.
like
Yeah.
yeah. That makes sense though. Y'all like have known each other for like a while, and I feel like y'all been through like a lot individually and just like.
Yeah, and I think he was looking for. I think he found what he was looking for, like in the internet.
Yeah, like shit.
Because I feel like he was looking for like a place to like really be comfortable, not being at the forefront, and like to focus on like specific elements and stuff. And, like, he can do that. So like, I feel like the Jet Age for me it was more important, but I feel like for him it was kind of like a transition into figuring out what he wanted.
Was trying to do.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it was just you and him that was a part of it, right?
Yeah,
That
it was just both of us producing and stuff.
That's sweet.
It's a good testing ground for things.
And then, were you like signed to Brain Feeder for a while? No.
I was on. Alpha Pup has this label called The Order. Alpha Pup distributes everything for Brain Feeder.
Oh, okay.
And then that same distribution company that they use also does distribution for Stone's Throw. So like I was at Stone's Throw, and then like I went to Alpha Pup in that same like situation.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so were you a part of Stone's Throw for a little bit?
Yeah, I was like
I
actually
got
signed
the
to Stone's Throw for my first 2 projects, Indra and Palace. I was on Stone's Throw. After that, like I started doing stuff like solo.
Word. So you were like with like Odd Future for a little bit, and then you were fucking with Stone's Throw.
Well, I was never like signed with Odd Future or anything, because they were signed to Sony, ATV at the time, and then now like that deal's over, so they're like on Columbia, and some people are at different places and shit.
Yeah, spread it out.
But I was just like I was really just like in the Jet Age, like just producing shit. Being around for stuff. Like I wasn't really that like. In all honesty, when we got kicked out of that house, and I had to move back to Georgia, that was when like shit really started to happen. So like that was when like everybody was signing all the stuff, and like I was out in Georgia.
Yeah, like shit.
Yeah. But I wasn't really tripping off of it, honestly, because like I was just happy to be around.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know, because like in the MySpace days, like I was just a fan of Our Future.
Yeah,
I just
like
wanted
shit.
to see people get more attention, and
you became like a part of that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that like
At
that
the very
started. Like, it's not about money or anything.
Yeah.
About like expanding like what's accepted.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
like
good
shit.
that brought attention to a lot of things.
Beautiful. Like all that shit happens, like everything happens for a reason.
Right, yeah. Everybody has their own path.
So like, would you like identify more with like the Georgia like music scene, or just LA? Just LA. 'Cause I guess because you were only in Georgia for like a little bit, and you just like helped like found like NRK and then moved out to LA.
And then we kind of left after that. I wouldn't really identify myself with LA either.
Yeah,
I don't really know where I fit in like musically, or like a place where I would like really identify.
You just identify for yourself, or
I would think like Illinois, because to me my music kind of like I've always admired how like certain parts of like Chicago and stuff like that, like you would catch people listening to like house and dance music in the hood, and like the blend of like rap and like dance music. You know, like there's other places that have been doing that. Honestly, I think like it's done a lot better in like Maryland and New York and shit like that.
Yeah.
But just I've always like identified with that pocket of music. So to me, like my time in Illinois kind of feels like the most at home. LA, I don't feel at home at all. Georgia, I hate. A lot of my family's from Louisiana. That place feels like home.
Stamp.
But yeah, so as far as where to identify, maybe Chicago.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Stamp. Are you like vegan or do you like?
For the most part.
Stamp.
But like it's weird because like I like people get mad at me for this. Like I high key like get annoyed with a lot of vegans.
That's fair.
Because like it's about animals for them.
Yeah.
You know, like quite frank, I really don't care about animals. It's just like meat for the most part. At least for me, like just after research and stuff, it just shouldn't be in my body personally.
Like shit. Okay, yeah.
You know, like it's just more about like nutrition and what you put in your body.
Yeah.
I don't really care what happens to the animal that you're eating or anything like that. And in all honesty, like if I feel like if you're gonna eat meat, it should be like high quality shit because like you know like it's something has to die for that. So like
shit.
Why not eat some top quality shit?
Yeah.
You know, like without like hormones and all this other shit in it.
Yeah, there's some wild ass stuff just in like
meat can get expensive as shit.
Put out, yeah.
But yeah, like cheap meat, hell no. Yeah, it's a reason that it's cheap.
Like shit. Yeah, I feel like that's just people are starting to become more and more aware of just like how fucked the food is now. So like people are like, alright, I'd rather just like switch to like a plant based thing where y'all can't like just fuck it up as much as you're doing like other stuff. Yeah,
I would rather people like identify as like plant based or just working towards a more plant based lifestyle. Instead of like, I'm a vegan. I'm a vegetarian. I don't care what y'all. Just eat some food. Like, whatever you like, eat that shit.
Stamp. Where does the name like VRITRA come from?
VRITRA is a Vedic god and a demon, like the duality of both. I honestly used to do more research and shit into it, but like I haven't since like high school. But essentially, like story short, it's a god and a demon. I named my like first album Indra because like there was a battle between VRITRA and Indra, and like Indra controls like the waters of the world.
Yeah.
And then I had an album after that called like Denu, and that was like the opposite of Indra. Like all tying into the like Vedic god shit and like Indian type shit.
Vedic
stuff.
Vedic is like Hindu or
Stop.
Is that like an ancient like religion or ancient like god?
Yeah, it's there's still like some prevalence today.
Snap.
So some of the stuff is like baked into modern day Hinduism, stuff like that. I'm not Hindu or anything.
Yeah. But just like interested in the shit.
I've always like found that interesting.
Yeah. And then you were Pyramid Vritra for a minute too. Where'd the pyramid part come from?
The pyramid, all of us in NRK for a while, like all were pyramid something, like something pyramid.
Stop.
And essentially that just came from like this like lifestyle perception. And like I have a tattoo, and like a few of us, like JQ from NRK has a pyramid tattoo. Andre McLeod from NRK has a pyramid tattoo. Essentially, it's because of the shape of a pyramid. The base of pyramids are pretty large, like it's not a deep analogy, but like everybody has an opportunity to become something like at the top of the pyramid. Um, Most pyramids don't have steps. I mean, some of them do, you know, but like not like functional, made for climbing steps, like easily to scale steps. So like that would mean like okay, everybody starts at the same level. There's an opportunity to get to the top, but you gotta figure out how to get to the top, and the top is small because there's only a few people that actually are made for making it up to that point, and that's like whether it's for success, whether it's for like comfort, whether it's for, it applies to everything. That you got to go through a struggle of some sort to be able to get to the relief of like accomplishing whatever you're trying to accomplish.
Cool.
So that's where that
That's
comes
sweet.
from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stamp. I fuck with that. I thought it was alright. Yeah.
And that's kind of what tied all of us in NRK together. Just like believing that same thing, like approaching things with that perspective.
Cool. That's sweet. That's like a good way to like look at shit.
Yeah.
That was a nice water droplet.
Yeah, I was looking at that too. Water's tight.
Right.
You know, like if you talk to water, it like changes like the like makeup of the molecules.
For real?
Like depending on what you say to it. Like there's been like experiments where like you say negative things to a cup of water, and like when you look at the molecules, they look different than like the water that you talk positive to.
Huh.
And if you take that perspective, like your body is made up of mostly water, so you saying negative things or like, you know, like that is gonna
get reflected back into you,
and then you can only attract like you can only like pull in like the same shit that you radiate out.
Oh shit, yeah.
So like if you're living in this negative world or you like just think that you're shit,
you're just only gonna attract
you're like
negative.
not anything, you're just gonna get trapped in that kind of experience. And like that's when you start wondering, like, why does this always happen to me? Like, I can't do it, you know. It's like you may not deserve certain things to happen to you, but like if you're stuck in the mindset of like, okay, well, this is what my life is.
Yeah.
There's no changing this, and this is what I deserve because like I suck as a person. Then
you're gonna be stuck in that.
Yeah,
cycle.
you're just not gonna, you know, figure anything out.
Yeah, and it's so easy to get in that cycle too.
Yeah, I feel like that's the easiest thing ever.
Like shit.
Yeah, it's so easy to just not do something.
Yeah.
Or like tell yourself that you can't do it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I really hate the saying like I forgot the saying. But essentially, it's just like people are like, alright, well, like you struggle the hardest before, like, or like success or like is right around the corner, or like whatever is right around the corner, and it's like I get that because it's like it's hard as shit to keep going, like with anything, like with school, like or with even if you just got an idea you're trying to execute, like it's easy to just stop. Like you could always just like or be like, alright, forget this. Like
it's too hard.
Just quit. But you could have not quit it, and the next second could have been the time that it worked.
Like shit.
There was this like interview with Afroman that made that Because I Got High song.
And
he was
like, shit.
Did you see that?
Nah.
He was like he made that song and he was over making music.
Yeah. And
he just like handed it out. And it was like, this ain't gonna work. Like just whatever, y'all can just listen to this like in person. And then it blew up. And he was like, I gave up. Like it worked after I gave up. Like I didn't even care. Like I didn't even think that this would do anything. And like to me that just shows that you never really know when things will change for you. You just gotta keep trying. You gotta keep trying to execute stuff. And that applies to like every path ever.
Yeah, like shit and like pretty much everything that you have to do.
Alright.
Damn. That song. Because like that was like a thing. Like middle school.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, that shit was. Everybody knew that song.
Yeah. Like that's when YouTube was like.
Early YouTube.
Yeah, early YouTube,
Yeah.
but that's when YouTube was lit. So it's just like.
It's gonna be something else. We go in stages. There was like a time where there wasn't a YouTube that we were alive. Well, that I was alive for.
Yeah, I was definitely alive. Yeah.
There was a time when Facebook was only invite only for college students.
Kill.
That's
Damn.
the craziest part to me. Like when I first found out about Facebook, you had to be in college and you had to be invited. It wasn't like anybody could get on Facebook. If you were a normal person, you had to use MySpace or like Zanga or whatever, some other shit.
Yeah.
It's just weird that became like the most popular. You know.
Full Facebook is like everywhere.
Yeah.
And apparently it's like kind of fucking up places.
Facebook is the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to launch a cryptocurrency called Libra. Which is probably gonna fucking work, which is a tax.
Yeah, exactly. You're just gonna fuck up the cryptocurrency, like.
Yeah, but like
even though it's already probably fucked up.
They've been under a lot of scrutiny from like a lot of countries because they basically just came out and said, which they totally have a right to do. Like they came out and said, we're gonna launch a currency that's available everywhere in every country that no one can do anything about. And technically they can. They can.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, anybody can do that. Like, it's a completely unregulated market. But when somebody like Facebook decides to do something, they got billions of people that they can instantly make use things.
Right. That's like, wild as fuck.
Like, imagine when people will get paid for Instagram. Like, it's it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And if Facebook is in charge of the bank paying the people to, and you're using Facebook's money, like it's about to be a really weird place that we live in.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like currency and finance and like cryptocurrency is a whole another topic.
Right. I don't really understand it that well.
It's when you got time, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot of really scary like financial changes that we're going through. We'll have to start charging negative interest rates in this country. Like for having money at a bank, you're gonna have to like pay. You already gotta pay like monthly fees, but like to deposit money, you're gonna have to pay
like a fee. Holy shit!
Yeah, it's about to get really weird.
God damn.
But the Fed, like, this is my last money related thing.
Okay,
The Federal Reserve, they're about to like launch this like payment now thing, like real time payment thing, like within the next few years, which is gonna be tight. Like, regardless of what kind of money you use, that's like instant, like 24-hour instant payment. Like if you're at work, like you get paid per hour as you're working.
Oh,
like,
shit.
That shit is gonna be really fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, no more finance stuff.
Alright, another question. Mm-hmm. Do you fuck with scary movies at all?
I do.
Yeah, where's some like good scary movies that you've seen recently?
that I don't really know. Like I just got okay with watching scary movies.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, like I had like this really bad experience when I was in like elementary school.
For real?
I went over a friend's house on his birthday with Halloween.
Yeah.
And him and his like parents thought it was funny to lock all of us in the basement and like while we were watching Friday the 13th.
Oh nah.
And like I was just over scary movies for a while.
Nah, it's gotta be asked. Like, was that like one of like the first scary movies you'd seen?
That was the first scary movie.
Damn, yeah, it's Friday the 13th,
yeah.
And then like that shit looked like kind of happens in real life, at least initially.
No, that shit that is very scary. But now like that I know that it's not real, or like even now that it's not real, like at this stage in my life, I've accepted like that kind of stuff can happen.
Yeah.
But it's cool to watch people run away from stuff and be scared.
So.
You know, it's interesting to see, like, in every scary movie, you know that they're not gonna do what they're supposed to do to stay alive. So it's kind of just, it's almost like a comedy.
So scary movies can be funny as shit. Like in theaters too, especially when it's like a bunch of people, and you can just like hear like the reactions and stuff.
They always do the opposite of what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So you could clearly avoid the whole movie.
You just
and
left.
You would have been safe if you would did one thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, I gotta go back because I left the key. Something stupid. Right. Like, always something stupid. People try to be heroes and like, come on now. People are dying. Run away.
Yeah, like shit.
Like, go hide somewhere.
You fuck with any like stand-up comedians?
I'm not big into stand-up. I'm not against it. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I just don't. There's like one that like, there's like this Jim Gaffigan thing that came on like Comedy Central like a long ass time ago.
It was like the Comedy Central presents shit.
Yeah, and like he did this joke about Hot Pockets. So that was pretty
Hot
funny.
Pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's funny.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah. He's really gotten to that, like, I don't know, just like awkward middle-aged white man.
Yeah, he definitely fits it. There's some people I don't
low.
think are funny at all. Like, I think Kevin Hart is only funny in movies.
Yeah.
I don't really think he's same with Eddie Griffin. Like, they're funny, but like all they really do, and like not to like knock them or anything like that, but it's just like, okay, I'm gonna get on stage and be like a loud black man and talk about black people stuff.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Of course, it's gonna be funny. Like, your voice is funny. Like, you're yelling the shit out and being hella animated, saying like black situations that are regular that like other people can't understand.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like all the black people were in there just laughing, like, yeah, that's true. All the white people, this is so funny. Like, how is your life like that? Like, it's regular stuff, bro.
Yeah, I feel like Kevin Hart does that. I guess Eddie Griffin does it probably more. I guess I don't know what's more of this. I fuck with Eddie Griffin more than I fuck with Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
I feel like Kevin Hart's a lot more mainstream now. Just because he's like the most popular comedian on the world.
Kevin Hart is checked out.
Yeah.
He got like YouTube shows. He got a YouTube fitness show. like what?
Do you fuck with like the Moors or like ancient, like, or not ancient, but like not necessarily alternative history, but like different history than like we've been like taught in schools and stuff? Because I feel like you've made like references to just like a bunch of like
I like look into stuff, but not like as deeply as like someone who's like really into stuff does. Heard about the Moors. Is that like a type of like Black Islam related thing? Or,
not necessarily. Like, it could. It could.
They didn't
be.
like explain it to me. I was just like piecing together stuff that I've like heard from other conversations. I don't really even know fully what it is.
The Moors were So over like I guess earlier this winter, I was here, like at Oberlin, like by myself or like with like a few of my roommates or just my roommate Max for a while, and every night I would just go on YouTube and just like listen to like. There's like in the show on YouTube, and there's like black professors that just talk about like different shit, and so I would just listen to that shit for like hours, like I don't know, like doing stuff. But anyway, the Moors, they're like a group from North Africa, like from Morocco, and they essentially like they were like the ancient Romans and the ancient Greeks and stuff, and they were like in Europe, and then they like fell apart and collapsed, and then for like it was like 800 or 500. There's like a good amount of time they were like in the Dark Ages in Europe, so like shit was just like fucked, like they were like it was like when feudalism happened, and it was just like a bunch of different small farms where there would be like a king and a queen,
Right.
but they weren't really kings and queens. They were just like white people living in barns, and like no like there's no like reading or writing. They were just kind of like brute strength ruled everything.
Okay.
And it was just like a real backwards like time lapse. Like they moved backwards in history and shit. And so the Moors were just like in Africa, kind of untouched, or not necessarily untouched, but like they were like far more civilized and stuff, like reading, writing, all that stuff, and they were Muslim too.
Okay.
And they like essentially moved up into Europe and into Spain specifically, and like re-educated all the white people and like taught them how to read and write, and translate the different Greek and Roman texts and shit, and like they essentially like started what was it, like not the Renaissance, but like because the Renaissance came later, but just like they just set like the stone for people to rediscover. Yeah, exactly. And they were all like black, the Moors and stuff, and they essentially like founded Spain and helped run it. And Spain was like the center where like a lot of the intellectual shit spread, or like rediscovering intellectual shit spread.
That's cool. I definitely didn't know.
Yeah, and it's like crazy. If you go, look more into it. Yeah, if you like go to like Spain, you'll see like statues of just like black people that like they like found the shit. I mean, and then once I think the Moors in like the 1400s, 1300s, they like there's like a lot of like infighting, and they kind of collapsed, and then that's essentially how like modern day racism was kind of created, was a way to overthrow the Moors from like Spain and shit.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Because like I've always thought like my perspective on racism, it's always been like, well, like there's a race that like, and not to like put any like anything above anything, but like there's a race that like has power. So like if you have the resources to stop that power and convince them that they can't access that power, then of course that would happen. Like, and it's like a huge attempt to subdue a race that like if they understood what was initially going on, that it could have easily just instantly been I don't know if it could have been stopped, but I'm just saying like I just look at it as people coming in, and they see like, okay, these people are strong, smart, and have potential to like spiritually like do a lot of things. Let's not let them figure that out. Like shit, exactly, because like if once they figure that shit out, they'll immediately be like, then you're good. Throw a Bible at them, and like that's it. Yeah, and it's crazy like how intricate the shit is. Like it's an entire like system that, but it's also like really new, and like it's still like it's not something like they kind of teach that it's been something that's been around since like the beginning of time, and it's like natural for people to be like prejudiced and shit. It's not, it's like it's not it's not thing. Like that. No, it's not at all. And like I feel like it's a kind of like a generational desperate attempt to survive. No, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. Because it's like, all right, well, like natural selection would by default take certain things out. It's like, but we figured this out, so let's stop that from even happening. Yeah. Exactly. History's weird. Yeah, history's weird as shit. It's so interesting, and it's crazy how it like repeats itself so much. Right. That's like the funniest part. Like we go in constant circles, and we're supposed to be learning from stuff, but like
just keep doing the same
just
shit.
repeat exactly what just happened.
Yeah. That's what's interesting. Do you believe in like reincarnation at all? Like,
Yeah,
you think?
yeah, dude.
So,
My beliefs are kind of weird.
for real, what are they?
Well, like at this point, like I do believe in like reincarnation, but like it's not necessarily that I think that everything's a simulation, but I feel like there's like a never ending, like, how do I put this? Like every situation can go any possible way at any point in time, and I feel like there's like different dimensions of that happening.
Yeah.
With you as you pick your but I feel like all of that is going on inside of like these like larger whether it's a simulation or like just
I feel like kind of like predetermined, like mapped out shit, like
yeah,
different routes you.
Yeah,
like,
or if it's just like, okay, well, these people will put on this section. I feel like the planet itself, it just not that it's flat. I don't even think that I don't think that it has a shape.
Okay, yeah.
One of the most painful things that I've like had to, and people might not agree with me. Like, I love space, but I don't believe in space.
Okay, like.
I feel like if there is a space, it's probably liquid.
Stamp.
And I feel like the only separation that there ever is like up and down. Like, so up is liquid space or whatever normal space.
Yeah.
And where we live is just like a never-ending plane, like land, ocean, restart after Antarctica.
Yeah.
More like, because there's all these it's not a documentary, but what's it like when people write like diary things about like experiences.
I just like use like notes maybe or like
some
recordings
like
or like.
But like there's been like expeditions and like trips past Antarctica or like flying over Antarctica, and like there's all these records of people saying, well, the grass like it starts to be grass and it starts to get hot again after you pass there. But okay, so if that happens and if nobody on this fucking planet can get along for any treaties except everybody on the planet agrees to not touch Antarctica. Yeah. So what's going on? Good? And then there are supposedly like Nazi bases that were there.
Yeah.
And then there's like U.S. like naval bases that are supposedly there now. Like, so if they're in control of, I feel like we focus on the wrong things.
Yeah, like shit.
They got us to worry about all this other stuff, but nobody questions like, okay, well, why does nobody like agree to go past? Like we've explored everywhere. Like why can't we explore there?
With Antarctica,
So I honestly think it just restarts after that, and then it just never ending, just keeps going.
Yeah, my like barber near my mom's house, like he is like really into that, like specifically like flat Earth and stuff, and like he'd be like cutting my hair and just telling me like the wildest shit. But he was saying that he thinks the Earth is like flat, and like he was saying like kind of like what you were saying off of past like expeditions that people have gone like just like exploring and shit. Yeah. Like they've written that like it's kind of like flat or whatever, but he thinks that it's flat on both sides. So like what's on a normal map is just the top side of like the world, but there's a whole another underside of the world, and that's like you get to it through going through Antarctica, and like on that underbelly is like just a shit ton of like different resources and stuff that like big governments tap into.
Yeah, there are a
But,
few
like-
people that also think it's like concave, or like it like what is concave? Convex and concave. Which one is like
Is that where it like drops down?
inside? Like, well, like hollow, whatever.
Oh, it is like a donut almost.
Somewhat, because like some people think that like how I was saying, like past Antarctica it like restarts.
Mhm.
People think like because there's been like expeditions past, and like even on Google Maps there's like been stuff edited at the North and South poles,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like some like accounts that like talk about going into like holes and stuff in the earth, and like it being like a whole nother version
Oh,
of this
shit.
planet in the inside instead of having a
What?
crust and all this stuff. Like
That is crazy.
I feel like it's good to question.
Oh
Like,
yeah, for
it's-
sure.
I don't know if any of it's right. I don't know if what I believe is right or
Yeah.
anything like that, but I don't think it's worth like discounting.
Yeah, at all.
You know, you should
It's like-
question, because most of the science is like, even though like we've tested, like science has to constantly be tested.
yeah.
Like
And-
it can't, like there's no truth. There's a truth, but like,
In the moment shit, but that can change like all
Yeah.
the time, and it does change like all the time.
and you can only understand stuff based on the tools that you have to understand it.
Yeah.
So if we're looking at everything under a certain lens and like automatically discounting certain things, there's stuff that we won't
Mhm.
even attempt to try to discuss.
Yeah, I feel like that's the biggest thing with science too, because I feel like before, or like in different like societies and civilizations, and still to this day in like some, I guess, like most like African or like indigenous populations around the world,
Yeah.
they were like good at like mixing like spirituality with science, because I
Right.
feel like
And
they
we've completely
both-
removed that.
we've completely removed it, and that's
And
why
an
it's like
important element.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to understanding this stuff, because now we just look strictly science, and looking at something strictly science just doesn't work, because even like if something happens like 99.99% of the time, like you still need to account for like the
Right.
0.1 or whatever, and I feel like science nowadays, it does more to just discount other things as opposed to like trying to understand.
Right. Yeah. It's not about
Yeah.
understanding.
It's try like
anything.
arrogant. Science is arrogant.
Yeah. It's very.
Yeah, who have you been listening to recently, like music wise?
Lately, mostly friends, but like other than that,
Mhm.
just a lot of older stuff. I listen to a lot of like '80s pop. In all honesty, like,
Cool.
a lot of, like there's this artist. I think she's like Russian. Her name's Beja.
Mhm.
Lisa Stansfield. There's this dude. I forgot where he's from in Europe. He's a newer artist, like newer, like 2000s newer.
Mhm.
His name's George Levin, like without an E, like
Mhm.
without an E in George. And he's tight. He never really got super established, but like melody wise, like he's the genius.
Still.
Gary Wilson, I listen to Gary Wilson a lot still. He's the person that actually brought me to Stone's Throw.
Kill.
Who else? A bunch of random stuff, or really just like, in all honesty, like I feel like if you make music,
Mhm.
the point is to make stuff you like. So I just listen to stuff I make, really.
Kill. That makes sense.
Cause like I hate when I meet artists that like don't listen to their own music.
Yeah.
You know, like the point should be to fill a void that wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know,
Like
but
shit.
different people make music for different reasons. But like
That's
for
right.
me, it was because I couldn't find what I wanted to listen to.
Kill. So you just made it yourself.
Yeah.
So like growing up and stuff, would you say you were listening to like the same type of shit?
Nah, growing up, I only really listened to like No Limit and Cash Money because
Stamp.
I was in Louisiana, and that's all
Oh,
my
yeah.
dad listened to, and like local artists. So
Mhm.
it was just rap. I didn't like start experimenting like with like finding what I actually liked myself until I moved to Illinois, and that was when like I started listening to like Blink-182 and
Mm-hmm.
other shit like that.
How old were you when you started like getting into that?
Like 10 or 11, something like that.
So,
The first album, okay, like the first 2 albums I bought
Mhm.
were In Search Of by NERD and the first 3 LW album. Like,
so,
so that's like the black funk
yeah.
punk rock album and an extremely mainstream pop album. I also like in that round of albums I bought like the second Aaron Carter album.
Kill.
Like, I don't know why. But like, yeah, like that's kind of shit I was listening to.
That NERD album, is that the one with
Where Shay's on the front playing like PlayStation.
Kill? Was like the dude from Green Day on one of the
That was
tracks?
on Fly or Die.
That was Flytrap.
It
Okay.
was from Good Charlotte.
Good Charlotte. Kill. That's what it was then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my dad was just like really into this shit, so he'd like be playing.
That was hard. I wish my parents were like into stuff I like.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I feel like I'm into the music I'm into is like through my dad for real. Cause he like put me on like really early. When I was like 7 or 8, cause I used to be like really into like rock and shit.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite band?
System of a Down.
System of a Down is tight.
Yeah.
What's your
'Cause
favorite System of a Down album? Mine is this one called Steal This Album.
I was just gonna say still something. I have a shirt that has like System of a Down still like
That's
the logo
tight.
or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, that shit goes hard. Or like Toxicity. Like
Toxicity is tight.
it's weird because my dad was like really into System of a Down, and like one of the first songs like I ever know was like a System of a Down song when I was like 2 or some shit. So like still his album Toxicity, Hypnotize and Mesmerize. Like I don't know any of.
Hypnotize and Mesmerize were so like that stage of my life that
Mhm.
happened at the right time. It just was perfect.
So,
You needed like some shit to rage to, and then you
Yeah.
needed like, but it was funny too. Like, you know, like the lyrics were somewhat funny, but then like you could also rage to it, and
Mhm.
like it made you feel like you didn't care about anything.
yeah,
Like, it was real freeing.
like
time.
shit. But yeah, like all 4 of those, like I don't really even know like any of the names of the songs, but I
Mhm.
just know them all because they're just like imprinted in my head from just listening to it like a
Right.
shit ton. But yeah, I was into like rock and stuff, and I like hated rap music in a sense because like I guess the only thing rap I was listening to was like on the radio and shit.
Mhm.
And then my dad was like, alright, like, I'm gonna, like, show you, like, actual rap music. And he was like, the best way to go about this is to show you, like, Eminem first, because it's just, like, so wild, and that'll, like, make you, like, kind of into it if you're already into, like, rock and
Yeah,
and
and
stuff.
then like go to the
And then
more
go
traditional
back,
Italian
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just wanted
Eminem
to
used to
go-
be really tight.
Yeah.
I got
right.
so disappointed with like his path,
Yeah.
but you know he is older.
Mm-hmm.
People, I feel like people hold on to shit too long, cause
Cool.
like artists, and it's the same thing with Kanye. I feel like for an artist, all you can really ask of them is to keep making art,
Yeah.
and like you can have an opinion on something, but like you can't make somebody recreate something. They're a different person,
Yeah.
you know. So like.
Yeah, you don't. I feel like you don't necessarily want the artist to just keep making the same.
Yeah,
thing,
and then
like,
if they
instead of,
tried, it
like,
would sound horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they don't even process stuff that way. Like, you go
Anymore,
from
yeah.
being broke, like, now you're rich, you probably got a personal trainer, you're going to be talking about different things.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know, or you got other people in your ear, like, I feel like with Eminem, like, I think he forgot, like, how tight he was and, like, how much he didn't need people.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, like even same thing with Andre 3000. Like hearing the conversations that like Matt has told me like that he's had with him, like it just doesn't make sense. Like you got somebody who's like in both those situations. It's like you got somebody that's like super respected, but they can't grasp how important they were. So
Cool.
like they think that to stay relevant they have to fit in.
Yeah.
Like,
And like
Matt was telling me that Andre 3000 hasn't put out another solo project because he doesn't feel like he's relevant enough to like deliver something that would work like The Love Below did. Like he doesn't think that he can make that album now and it will work.
But like he shouldn't even try to make that album in the first place. He should just make
we
like
just
his
want
own
you
album.
to make
Yeah.
some shit. It's gonna be cool.
It's gonna be it's gonna be
Like,
great. Yeah.
You were
Whatever
already
it
ahead
is.
of the time before.
Yeah.
Like make something.
Like shit.
You know, it got to the point where like to me, which was good for Big Boy, but like he like started experimenting more, and it's like,
Cool.
all right, well somebody
Actually
gotta
though,
do this shit.
yeah.
But then I found out that he produced a lot.
Huh.
So like going back and listening and stuff, it's like, damn, he was playing instruments on this. I didn't really respect Big Boy at
Yeah,
first. Like,
damn.
he been playing. Both of them play instruments. Both of them got production on both the. You know, they kind of deviated from the Dungeon family and started
Yeah.
producing on their own, which is hard. And then people, like in that same world, I feel like people don't like consider Future as a part of that. When Future's from the Dungeon family.
Yeah, I'm hip that like I've definitely like heard that he's from the Dungeon. Like he's mentioned that like he's like from there. Like, do you know the specifics behind that or whatever? Like, was he just,
I
like,
don't
someone's,
know
like,
the full specifics. I just know that he was there for like a lot of the Outkast stuff happening. And like there's this interview, I forgot like what interview it was, but he was like, the reason that he does what he does now, it's like they did everything. You know, so it's like I want to do my own thing and I'm gonna experiment kind of like in my lane, but it's like they kind of did all the experimenting.
Yeah, already.
Like if you grow up around that, like what else is there for you to do?
You do, yeah, like shit. Damn. That's why Future just goes so hard.
Yeah,
It's just like
because he has that influence.
that was
and
what
then,
he was
like,
listening to when he was like
Right.
fucking young as shit, probably.
And
like,
then he
growing
figured
up.
out that you can like study, because he studies nursery rhymes, and like
Huh.
he studies like these things that like you inherently just remember,
Mhm.
and like you know that like melodies that you're just drawn to.
Cool.
So he knows like what gets a reaction, like out of like the back part of your brain. That's why you remember like melodies that like Future, you know, like you like
Damn.
humming stuff because that's the point. It's not really meant for you to know the words. It's meant for you to like you might think the song is stupid, but like you wake up like, why is this song stuck
Still in my head, yeah.
That's the point.
That's Future. Damn, Future is fucking great.
Yeah, smart guy.
There's this meme of like DJ Khaled like
That's a funny.
in the like the limousine.
What
He's
does
like
he
going
even
really
do?
fast. Son, I don't know anymore. I guess he just
Is he
Is
just
this
like
on- I
get
think
a
he's still
bunch
on
of people in
Snapchat.
the studio? Like he just gets hella people in the studio. Like, oh, y'all finished the song? DJ Khaled.
I feel like he
That's
used
on
to
my
make
album.
beats, right?
I think so.
And then, but I feel like he
Because
stopped
he
making
was a
beats
part
a
of
minute
Terror
ago.
Squad.
Kill.
Like, so like I'm like, was he making beats back then? Because he's in the Lean Back video. like he's out here. It's just that's the funniest part too. Like, it seems like a lot of these artists like, oh, where'd they come from? They've been like a
They've
part of
been
shit.
around, yeah.
Yeah.
For
And it's cool like seeing what people become. Like I'm surprised that like DJ Khaled is more famous than Fat Joe. Like Fat Joe was popping.
Kill.
Like,
He's
Fat
job.
like- Fat Joe is not popping no more.
Yeah. Damn.
But DJ Khaled is like,
Bro, he's on a... I feel like
The
he's
best.
just the best. He's just been steadily, like, rising more and more and more
yeah.
since, like, whenever. That's... Yeah, I've always wondered what he does.
Yeah, I still have no idea.
I feel like he did make beats for a little bit and then just turned into, like the DJ, like, that would just host mixtapes, like Gangsta Girls or whatever.
Right.
Like,
But then you could argue that there's a talent in that. Like,
yeah.
it's like, all right, well, it was my idea to get these three people in the
Together,
same room
yeah.
to work on this song. I might have not
Okay.
added nothing on it, but like I
I
got
put
y'all
them together, yeah. to make this song.
You know,
Okay.
I might have paid to have y'all come together. So.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's cool. I guess that's producing.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I haven't listened to any of the DJ Khaled albums that have come out, but I definitely feel like a lot of those songs are popular.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely mainstream Khaled.
What equipment or like programs do you use to make your music?
I use Ableton at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I've used Fruity Loops. I've used Reason. I've never really used Logic because every time I've seen people using Logic, it always crashes.
Cool.
So like, I'm not trying to do that. I've made the majority of my music on Ableton. There's some like early Jet Age stuff I made on Fruity Loops. I've only made like 3 songs on Reason that have like been released.
So, why do you prefer Ableton like overall?
Yeah, I like Ableton just because it's easy to get ideas out. It's not necessarily the best sounding I feel like Logic sounds better than the rest of them. But Ableton, the layout is just, you could get ideas out ideas that used to take me like an hour to do in like Fruity Loops or something else. Like I could get it out in like 10 minutes or something.
Cool.
It's just because it just makes sense. Like once you get it down and like the way that stuff works, you can just click record. Everything doesn't even have to be at the same length. Like you know, you can just piece stuff together. It's more like cutting and pasting than like making music.
Okay, word.
So that's kind of my favorite program.
I feel like a good amount of people that like use Ableton like really fuck with Ableton, I guess, like because of that.
And then the bonus with Ableton is like you can perform the same session that you use in the studio, because the way that it's laid out, like everything's in clips, so you can just cue things like while you're performing or whatever, or while you're in the studio, you just play the clip. It doesn't have to be the same length as everything else. There's all these like, I would consider it cheating, but you can honestly just drop a song in Ableton and it'll make it on beat.
Cool.
Like it's
damn.
And every year they've been getting better at that. Like the warping and like chopping and sampling and editing in Ableton is really good. So I think that's like the biggest benefit to it.
Damn. I like download Ableton on my laptop, but then I tried using it. Like I didn't even try like looking up how to use it. I was like, I'm just gonna try and figure it out, and I was like, wow, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah,
like,
it's different than the rest of the programs. But once you get it,
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Cool.
Then another reason like I like started using Ableton. I used to be a really big fan of Machine Drum. He's like this dance producer, and he was using Ableton, and I was just like, I gotta figure out how to make music like that. So I like convinced my mom to give me Ableton, and like my sister's dad worked at Georgia State at the time, so like he like finessed us a student to use so that we could get the student discount.
That's sweet. Cause
I got it before I was in college. But yeah, that was how I got Ableton.
Cool. And then, were you like rapping and then started like producing, or did you start making beats first and then like to start like rapping?
I kind of like did both at the same time. I started taking rapping more seriously when, kind of like in that, like a little bit before the Jet Age stage, like when I was in the early days of NRK, like I was rapping occasionally, just cause, but like I didn't really care to like fully do it. I really wanted to like take my own path when like we were just trying to like, cause I would send like Tyler beats, I would send Haji beats, I would send Haji beats. Send stuff to Earl. Like Vince was the only person that like was really using me or Matt's beats. Like we had a whole album called Generic that Matt did the cover for. Like we had all these plans where it just never came out. It was done.
Cool.
It just never came out. But Vince and Mike G were the only ones that kind of like really like used like shit that I was making. But even then, it was like Vince got it, but like some other people, like I would have to like, oh, how do you rap on this? Like, there's been so many people out there. Like, these are cool, but I don't know what to do. So I gotta rap and record some shit, and then by that time it's just like, all right, well, I like what I did more than like I don't even want you to add.
Kill.
And then, in all honesty, like in high school, a lot of people thought I was like really like weird, and like the people that I was around were like really weird because like I didn't have any friends moving to high school because I moved from Illinois. And rapping was instantly seen as cool, so I could like make beats and stuff, but like if this quiet guy like puts out a mixtape, or like these 6 quiet guys like that you never see doing anything except like wearing weird ass clothes, because like people would just make fun of us for like doing that, like wearing like back before Vans were cool. Like wearing Vans, or like I used to wear like Bapes with like these like goth trip pants like with the chains and stuff. And like people thought that was just really weird. So like me rapping on top of that, like it was like, that guy's alright. Like we were instantly we went from like people picking on us to like now we could hang out in the senior circle in high school, so that was cool. But I feel like rap is like the easiest way to translate stuff, and it's like it's impressive.
Yeah, for sure.
Like even if it's not necessarily the best medium to like express certain things, which I'm getting more comfortable with now. But like, in high school, if you want to talk about something, or you want to get something across, it's easier to rap it.
Cool.
And like I was already good with like language arts and like writing and stuff like that, so like I like music, I'm a rap.
Yeah, and I feel like you like specifically have like a really good, like I just like noticed like even when you were performing last night, like you could spit, and like you didn't even have like a vocal track behind you for real. You were just like bars. Yeah,
that's the one thing that like, cause I've low-key hated rapping for a long time, because it's like as a performer you're kind of just like thrown into a situation that shouldn't work. You know what I mean? Like you're with a band. Like if you got a band, like you could just do your one thing. You don't gotta move around. You don't gotta show off or interact with people.
Like shit.
If you're a rapper with just a computer, like, what the fuck are you gonna do? Like it took me the longest to figure that shit out. It's like, all right, so I walk this way, I walk this way. like what do I do? I've always wanted to be a part of a band. It just never like came together. Like I was in the internet for a little bit. The original internet was me, Left Brain, Matt, and Sid.
Cool.
But Left Brain and Haji were about to go on tour, and like I was like working on like Pyramid, like my album. Yeah. And then Matt and Sid were just like making songs, and they were like, well, Sid reached out to like a few people from her high school. Yeah. Chris, the drummer, went to the same high school, and Patrick, I don't know if he went to the same high school. Midtown Pat, the guy that plays bass, but he was like always around, like since I first came to LA, because Sid had her own collective. It was like Lifestyle Art Society.
Oh, snap.
And it was Sid, Vince, Mike G, and I think like I don't know if Tay, there's this guy named Tay that used to play keys in the internet. I think he was a part of Lifestyle Art Society too. I'm not sure though. But you know, like Tyler started recording over her house, and that kind of she ended up recording for all the Odd Features, and that kind of like became a thing, and like that kind of led to her. I mean, this is kind of becoming about Sid now, but like that led to her taking singing seriously, because she was the DJ for everyone in Odd Future when shit started taking off, and she hated that.
Cool.
That's why Taco started DJing.
Ah.
Because she was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going nowhere no more. Like with y'all. She, you know, was like, I'm gonna stay home and I would like work on shit, and that was when she fell into the internet stuff, and you know, which is good. That's why like I'm really proud of both of them. Yeah. Because they're comfortable. Like on the first internet album, even some of the second one, like I personally can hear how uncomfortable like they are. You know, but the ideas were fully forming, and like, Ego Death and whatever the last two, I don't know, I've mixed up the names, but they're comfortable. Yeah, and it's great to see like sweet, friends get comfortable with doing stuff.
That's it. You have a song with Pink Siifu. How did that like come into play?
He used to hit me up on Twitter before I checked out his music and stuff. Yeah. But when I did, I was like, damn, like this dude could really fucking rap. Yeah. And then Ali is type too, like what like the B Kool-Aid thing that they got going on. And he was living in LA at the time, and he just asked if I wanted to come through, and I came over and we recorded some stuff that didn't come out. I still got it. Yeah. And then he reached out again because we had just started hanging out. Then he was working on Inslee, or however that's pronounced it. That tape, the rap tape that he put out. And like I had a bunch of, I was like, yeah, like you could pick whatever, like, you know, I was just playing them some stuff. And he had came to where I was staying in Long Beach, and you know, we recorded that track. That was about it. But he's an incredibly talented guy.
Yeah, he performed at our school last year.
He's a great performer.
Yeah, Micaiah booked him to come. He like he was just like playing music, and like because he was like DJing high mix and shit, and every once in a while he'd like throw on one of his beats and just like rap a little bit. Yeah. And like go back to this thing. But yeah, really talented. That was just like cool because I was just like looking.
Yeah, I saw him perform a few months ago, like in LA, like at the start of the year, and I took a lot from that because that was like I think my second time seeing him perform. I was like, I gotta like interact with people the way that you you don't even talk to people on stage, and like it's just I don't know, like you just really like have a thing with people. And yeah, like I've been trying to like figure out like how to tap into
make that connection or whatever. Yeah, cause you don't like explicitly like, cause I noticed that too. When I like went to his performance last year, I don't think he necessarily was like yelling out to the crowd.
Yeah,
and shit,
like some people need to do that, like.
But you could still like make that connection, like
right.
Feel like, I don't know how to necessarily put in words, but yeah. So, are you like currently signed to somewhere right now, or are you just like
it's just distribution
deals?
I'm not like against being signed. Yeah. I think labels just provide resources. Yeah. Like it's not really like a real benefit other than access. Yeah. You know, and like having people put money behind things, because everything works through playlisting now. Like, which is cool.
What's playlisting?
Basically, it's kind of sad when you see it like happening, because people don't really care about albums like maybe like individual fans and like artists care about albums.
Yeah.
I care about albums.
Yeah.
But like when it's out, the goal is to just get it added to like a Spotify playlist or like to Apple Music playlist.
Okay,
Like that's
okay.
the hope. Like, okay, like you release. Like that's why you got like Drake releasing like compilation mixtapes. You got Chris Brown releasing 40 song things because it's not necessarily if you. It's not
about the album.
Yeah,
It's just
it doesn't matter
making
if you
it to
listen
the
to the whole
playlist.
album. It's just like, all right, here's a bunch of songs. Hopefully, you throw one of these on like one of the playlists that has like 500,000 listeners and something.
So you can get the streaming bread.
Because the main people that like listen to music and like run stuff up are listening to like chill music playlists or like rap mix, like stuff like that.
Like
so.
shit.
Like, and they don't really care about what songs are there. They're just like, all right, if you tell us these are the songs that fit this mood, then great.
Yeah.
And
that is how shit is now.
That's the goal. But I think it'll change. Like, music is constantly changing.
Yeah. No, for sure.
It's finally getting back on a path that, like, I think we could do something about. Because, like, it's just been a fail for a long time. And it's completely the industry's fault. Like, Napster tried 100%. To go to all these labels before, like, it was completely public and free. They thought it was a joke. Just like Blockbuster thought Netflix was a joke.
Yeah.
like, come on.
Shit.
Like, you gotta, like, try to, like, update.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like we're in such a weird situation now because, like, companies like Apple and, like, Spotify figured, okay, like, music was already free. Like, you got music to the point that anybody can get it and they're just downloading it.
Yeah.
We can't sell them that, so let's sell them a subscription service, which is fine.
Yeah.
But the problem with that was they got to determine like what people get paid.
Yeah.
And there was no laws. There's no regulations.
To
so
make sure,
like
people actually get.
So it's like, all right, well, a fraction of a cent per stream. That's what we decide. So that's the law. You know, like that.
Yeah.
That's it. But now people are like fighting that and trying to get those raised and stuff. Spotify is suing artists because they apparently think that they're paying them too much.
What? That's wild as hell.
It's so stupid.
It's like Spotify, you're making so much money.
Right.
Like, why are you trying to take money from the people that are
you
giving
and
you
Apple
money
Music
in the first
have become the music industry.
Yeah.
And you're mad that you paid artists that are not like what? You're not even paying people. You're paying people less than $1 for like to get real money. You need like millions and millions of streams. You know, like, which is cool. You know, like that's not even. I feel like the only people that like it really negatively affects are like big celebrities that were used to getting huge checks.
Yeah.
Because like if you can get, because it's possible to get like a bunch of streams on some, like if your song's popular, you get some streams. Like,
Yeah.
With 1 million something streams on a song, especially if you got multiple songs, you can make a living.
Yeah.
You know, you can get a little basic apartment. You know, you can not have to work. That's the goal as an artist, isn't it? But people want chains and cars, and you can't get that kind of shit from music
from just
now.
music, yeah.
You gotta do endorsements and stuff like that to get that kind of money.
So, you've pretty much been independent, like,
your whole time.
Your whole career. How do you, like, you mentioned, like, distribution deals. How does that necessarily, like, work, just, like, as an independent, like, you just, like, agree, or you can, like, explain it?
Yeah, it's necessarily just, it's like an agreement to, because, like, they just handle the like, placement of stuff. You know, so it's like you could completely avoid that and just go through like DistroKid or TuneCore and stuff, but you gotta pay for some of those.
Yeah.
So essentially, my situation that like or the route that like I've taken, more so has just been for distribution. So I get stuff put on like iTunes and stuff for free instead of having to pay for it, and I don't necessarily get advances and stuff that way. Like, the brief time I was at Snowstra, I got an advance, but, like, that was, like, the worst thing ever. because one, it wasn't a lot of money, which is that's whatever.
Yeah.
But like, you got to pay all that back.
Cool.
You know, like people talk about like, oh, I just got a $2 million advance. It's like, yeah,
damn, like you're about to pay all that back. Yeah.
They completely bought you out, and then like every song, all the videos that you do, that you paid that money back. Like
God.
Because I remember like in the early Odd Future days when like they had first started going to like Paramount Studio and like recording at all these expensive studios. Niggas would just be in there smoking and eating Wingstop. And I'm like, this shit costs like $500 an hour. Like, y'all don't care about that? Like, you know, but like you in a mindset of like, oh no, we blowing up like this and that. Like, you got to pay that shit back.
Yeah.
You really got to pay that shit back. Like,
that's kind of wild. They just immediately put you in debt.
It's a trap.
Like shit.
The smartest people are the people that don't take advances, or like, it's like, all right, I'll sign like a 1 album deal with y'all. You can give me an advance, but like I'm already doing stuff that I know that I can make that money back.
Yeah.
I feel like you shouldn't take $1 million advance unless you already got $1 million.
Like shit. Seriously.
Or you know that you could like take that and invest it in something that could make you that much money.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to make that much money, then like you about to be trapped. You might get you a chain. That's about it. Get you a car and a house. Smartest thing, just get a house. Get a few houses. That way, if they try to get you for all that money, like the property is getting value.
Stamp. No, that definitely is the best thing.
Or like buy jewelry that
land.
Gets that like. I really hate that all these people are buying like Bussdowns.
Yeah,
that's like the stupidest thing ever.
And it's just so much money too.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of money, and then like I think people forget the fact that they're drilling into the fucking they have to recreate the item, and then they gotta drill into the actual metal to place the diamonds. And gold itself, like, it keeps its value way more than diamonds do.
Yeah.
You know, like, you could get a plain Rolex that's worth more than one that has a whole bunch of diamonds on it. And you could have bought it for way less money, but, like, over time, like, 5 years later, it's like, all right, well, no, that one's worth more money.
Yeah, because it doesn't have all the extra shit in
it. Or if you get a factory one that has diamonds in it. You know, like, because Rolex does make watches with diamonds.
Yeah.
But if you, like, the point is to get stuff that, you know, you can get money from
down the road, yeah.
As long as people doing that, like, it's all good. It's too many black people that get money and then, like, go broke after that. I'm tired of saying that.
Yeah, that shit's ass.
Right. Like, I don't even need the money myself. I just want to see people do smart shit.
Yeah, like shit. But yeah, are you working on anything now? Or like, what can you expect?
Last night I performed a few songs from this like rap tape that I'm releasing later this year.
Stamp.
It's releasing on the same label that released this album called Bird that I released earlier this year with Wilma Archer.
Archer, yeah.
Yeah, so that's coming out.
Stamp.
That's with me and this producer Leon Silvers.
Cool.
The fourth. Leon Silvers, the first, was in like Shalimar.
Cool.
Like funk band in the 80s.
Word.
But like Leon Silvers, the fourth, is a crazy type producer.
Stamp. Is he like related or?
Yeah.
Oh,
word.
Yeah.
It's his
like
son.
Okay, stamp.
So I got that coming out, and like as far as like solo albums, like produced by me, I finished my next album and this kid's album. It's like both are like two sides of the same thing, but essentially, like the concept of it is like these families were selected to come to this place because they were told that they like won a trip somewhere.
Okay.
And it's only families with kids.
All right. Yeah.
So when they get there, they're divided. The parents go into this one room, and the kids go into this other room.
Understand.
And like from that point on, one album is like the kids show, like directed at like children and like emotion,
Yeah.
and, like kids dealing with emotion, and the other side is like this psychedelic like adult album. And essentially what happens in the end is like, because I'm it's gonna take me a while to release it because I need the visuals to like I just gotta execute it the right way, and it's gonna be illustrated.
That's sweet.
But in the end, the character that leads the people in the adult room and in the kids room is the devil.
Oh,
so
shit.
Like the kids are sacrificed for you know, like for all this other shit, and like they're both really positive albums, but they're meant to be played together, and like after one finishes it loops into the second one. And like the video for it is gonna be like that. The end of it is the beginning of the, you know. It's just getting the. I'm always really good with executing the music part really quickly.
Yeah.
But I gotta get the rest of the pieces together. Like this rap album I'm releasing, it's been done since last year.
Cool.
And the two other projects are probably not releasing until late next year or the beginning of 2021.
Still.
You know.
Yeah, but you have to like put all the time and like shit into it.
It's just frustrating because I've been like I can't stop making music.
Yeah. But
I got like a lot of stuff already done. So like the problem with that is like when stuff releases, I'm performing stuff that like I made like the year before.
Yeah, like shit.
And like you know you're excited about all this new stuff, but it's like damn, like that's not releasing for like 2 years.
I mean that album sounds hard as fuck, and like visuals accompanied by it, like that sounds just like fucking crazy. So it'll be worth like the time put into it. But I feel that like if you're like performing and it's like damn I did this shit like so long ago.
Like, I used to get really frustrated about that. But like before, like I wasn't really making stuff that I liked. Cool. You know, there was like a real stage, like a lot of Pyramid. I was making stuff that I didn't really like production wise. It was where I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But like that whole time period and like Eleanor. And all that stuff. Production wise, I was where I wanted to be, but I was rapping in a way that I didn't really care for.
Like content wise, or just like
not content wise, or just like flows and like what I was trying to do. Like I was trying to sound like I was a part of our future, and I hated that. You know, like but people like those projects, and
I really fucked with Eleanor.
I like it concept wise.
Yeah.
But I just wish that I spent more time recording it the right way, because I mixed it myself and you know like did all that myself, which I shouldn't have done. I need to have other people do shit. But
Word. Well, I feel like that's about all the questions I had for real.
For sure.
Thanks for coming to Oberlin and fucking performing, like murking it. And thanks
I'm
for
glad that
talking.
I came. It's a really cool place. It's a good departure from being in LA. I'm about to go back to the concrete jungle with no trees, nowhere.
God.
It's like heat, smog, and weed. That's LA. Heat, smog. You can hear the power lines, which is scary. It's like
the
you
power
walk
lines,
out, like you can hear that. It sounds like rain, like constant rain.
Holy shit!
And it's loud, like it's really fucking loud, and it's in every part of LA. Like the wiring is so bad. The wiring for like electricity and like the plumbing in the street, like all the shit is just so like. It's a city that I feel like got too popular before there was like the infrastructure isn't there.
Was there, yeah, to support all the people.
Yeah, so it's just an overload of people, and then nobody working on the roads.
God. Yeah.
Nobody trying to update the power line, and then they don't do it because there's so many people.
Yeah, like
Like,
shit.
You can't close off a main road to fix it, even though it needs to be fixed, because it's hundreds of cars on it every day.
Yeah.
You know,
shit,
like it's there's hope. Hopefully, you know.
Yeah.
Hopefully Elon Musk finish that boring tunnel. He's like building a tunnel. It's partially open now.
For real?
Yeah, they let some like from SpaceX, which is in Hawthorne, to downtown LA. You need to be invited to use it.
Yeah.
But the goal is to do that and then have different tunnels for different parts of
That's kind of sweet.
LA, different parts of the country, like long term.
Damn.
Instead of using the roads and traffic and stuff.
Yeah, just go under in a
Right.
tunnel.
I mean, when you got money, you could just
Yeah.
throw out ideas.
Fucking Elon Musk is, I feel like, is notorious for that, just like throwing out ideas.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna do this.
You know how he got all that money?
How?
PayPal.
Oh yeah, he
was
started
one of
PayPal.
the owners
right?
of PayPal.
Kill.
Yeah.
Damn.
But even before that, he sold a program before he was 20. And like he had like millions before he was 20. Then he put that shit in PayPal. And then
Damn.
PayPal blew up. Just a lot of smart decisions.
Yeah. It's a weird guy though. I feel
Definitely
like.
a weird guy.
Yeah.
Didn't he date Grimes?
Huh.
Or whatever her name was?
Huh.
I think they were a thing for a little bit. Which is
Elon
weird.
Musk, man.
Strange guy.
Strange guy. Word. Well. Yeah. That's
Make this journey.
Yeah, it's about it. Yeah, you gotta catch this flight and shit.
Yeah.
Thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
VRITRA, SleepWalker Radio.